Hey guys, it's Jules and welcome back to Flirting with Meaning. If I told you I'm feeling like the penguin, would you know what I mean? If you do, then I'm curious if you also feel like the penguin. And for those who don't know, there's this penguin that went viral on social media from a documentary that was filmed years ago, but it's just now making this huge impact on everybody because they resonate with it. Like it hits something inside of them. It strikes a chord. And if you're on the internet regularly, you've probably seen the clip or screenshots or the memes of it or just the penguin by itself in the snow in general. It's just this penguin who leaves the colony and starts walking in the opposite direction, away from its fellow penguins and away from the safety of the group and away from what penguins are supposed to do. The people filming the documentary are really confused because they're like, why is this penguin heading to certain death? The internet started calling this penguin the nihilist penguin, which I'm unsure if it should be called that because a nihilist, don't they usually have a more pessimistic view on life? But this penguin, it seems like it wanted more out of life. This penguin knew life was made for more than this, you know? And people started joking like, the penguin's opting out, it's tired and it doesn't care anymore, that it's had enough of the system, but like enough of the routine, enough of being one of many. Like that one scene with all the krill where the little krill named Will, which is a genius name by the way, Will is like, I'm one in a trillion. Anyway, what really got me was that it's not just that it was interesting, it's how many people deeply emotionally related to it. People are like, yeah, that's me. I'm the penguin. I want to walk away. I don't want to explain. I don't want to argue. I just want to leave. I just want to search for what else is, like, what's more out there for this life. And I couldn't stop thinking about why it resonated so hard, because it's not just about a penguin. It's about this existential exhaustion. It's about this burnout that we're all having. And you know, in the video, if you've seen the video, when the narrator said that even if they brought it back, it would still head straight towards the mountains. And then he goes, but why? Whenever I hear that, but why? But why? The way he says it, I hope that narrator got paid a lot of money. Anyway, so that's what we're getting into today. But before we go any further, let me kind of talk about nihilism, because nihilism doesn't always have to mean, you know, like depressed, hopeless, nothing matters, life is pointless in the end. That's not always what it looks like in real life, I guess. I think nihilism also at its core is kind of like the belief that there's no inherent meaning built into the universe, no cosmic instruction manual, and there's no guaranteed purpose handed to you at birth. And a lot of people aren't screaming about meaninglessness. They're quietly realizing that the rules they're given don't actually work out for them. In modern nihilism, it's not necessarily dramatic. It's kind of just tired. It's when you're burnt out and you're like, okay, like I'm done. Like this is just, anyway, it's, you know, showing up to work and paying the bills, answering, you know, people doom scrolling and just trying to care, but realizing that the things you were told would fulfill you just do not. And instead of burning everything down, people are just emotionally clocking out. And I think that's why this penguin hits when we call it the nihilist penguin. I mean, can't read the penguin's mind. I could be completely off here, but here's the thing about the penguin. It's just walking. It's just walking. And that's important. It's not this dramatic, it's literally just walking. And if you look in the video, you'll see the penguin kind of turn back and look and then just keep going. And that actually was the moment where I got emotional. I was like, it's looking back at its old life and then it just keeps going towards uncertain death or towards certain death. The penguin doesn't, you know, attack any other penguins. It literally just starts going. It simply leaves. And I think that's what people are responding to. So many of us want to kind of opt out quietly, and not in a self-destructive way, but in a I do not want to play this game anymore way. No announcement, no confrontation, no closer speech, just distance. And I think opting out right now feels so tempting right now because we live in a culture that never shuts up. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants productivity and self-improvement, output, consistency. You know, you're supposed to know who you are. You're supposed to know what you want. You're supposed to have a 5-year plan. Be emotionally available but not needy. Be ambitious but not annoying. Be healed but still interesting. And it's exhausting. And when you fail to keep up, the blame quietly shifts onto you, and it's like you didn't optimize enough, you didn't grind hard enough, you didn't love yourself enough. The penguin isn't failing at anything a penguin is supposed to do. It's just refusing, and that difference matters. And I also want to talk about the absurdism and why this meme, if you want to call it a meme, is actually so philosophical, and like how existentialism kind of sneaks into all of this. Absurdism says that life is inherently confusing. We want meaning, and the universe does not give clear answers. The tension is absurd. The penguin walking towards the mountains is absurd. It makes no sense biologically, it makes no sense strategically, and it makes no sense narratively. And that is the point. We are all making strange choices in a world that does not explain itself. People move cities with no plan, and they leave relationships that look fine on paper, but just doesn't feel right. They change careers, abruptly. They stop wanting the things that they worked so hard for. And from the outside, it looks irrational, but from the inside, to them, it feels necessary. There's also this desire to kind of disappear without dying. And I want to talk about this gently because a lot of people might feel this way. There's a difference between wanting to stop existing and wanting to stop performing. Most people don't want to die. They just want, fewer expectations, fewer explanations and obligations that feel meaningless. They want to rest without being questioned. The penguin's not choosing death. It's not choosing to die. It's choosing to live. And honestly, to reflect a bit personally, there have been moments in my life where I felt like that penguin, not because I hated everybody, but because I couldn't recognize myself in the life that I was living, and moments where staying felt heavier than leaving, and moments where I didn't want a big ending, I just wanted space. And what I've learned is that sometimes walking away, it's not necessarily avoidance, it's just honesty in myself. And nihilism, I guess, technically doesn't have to mean nothing matters. It can mean nothing's assigned. Like, you get to choose. Meaning doesn't come from the colony, it comes from how you walk, why you walk, from what you decide is worth caring about, even temporarily. The penguin doesn't need the universe to validate its choice. It just keeps walking. And if you feel like that penguin, congratulations, because that means you know that there's more out there in life for you to experience. You know that life is more than all this terrible economy, all this, all the bad things that are happening in the world, all the taxes, all the, expenses, all the stupid $100 fees when it's like, why is there another fee and why is it over $100? You know that life is more than that, more than these stupid, every single day you wake up, all that stuff. You want to live your own version of a meaningful life, and sometimes the most radical thing you can do is just quietly choose yourself and keep walking. I think this was kind of meant to happen, to send like this mass message to everybody and kind of nudge people existentially. I think, it's not a coincidence that this blew up. I think people resonate with it for a reason. So I obviously the penguin has passed away by now just because it's been so many years, but it's interesting to think, what was the penguin really thinking? Because, at the end of the day, we are just spitballing here on our theories, but that just amazing. Just wow. Documentaries in general always move me so emotionally, but that one, just wow. I have no notes, just wow. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, was that penguin. And just the existentialism in general always gets me going. I don't know if it gets you guys going too, but existential crises always cause me to make the biggest changes in my life that pretty much like alter the entire course of my life in general. So a big fan of those, big fan of a good existential crisis. I hope everybody can experience one that causes them to make big changes in their life. Life is way too short to not. But I guess I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys had a good week, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Let me know what you want to hear about next time. And if, the penguin video resonated with you at all, please let me know. Have you ever had a severe existential crisis? I want to hear about it. But until then, I'll see you guys again next week.